What's up, weirdos? What's going on, guys? Good morning. Good morning. So, how about that? How about that Bitcoin chart today, huh? Looking red again. Looking red once again. More downside pressure seems like it. Are we going to recover, or are we going to continue further, guys? 77.5 right now. Are we going to test this level again at 74.5? Let's find out. Let's get into the chat a little bit. What's up, your boy? First. Smells funny in here. Did someone surpass fart coin? Yeah, good old fart coin, eh? Another one I never really did much looking into fart coin, to be honest with you. It's funny. That is funny. What's going on, guys? Feeling good today, man. Listen, you can be of one of two minds here about things, guys. You can be excited for opportunity, not just in crypto, but across all markets. This is a really good opportunity to beef up anybody's portfolio. Or you can be upset, you can whine, and you complain, and you can be toxic online. You can do that stuff. But I promise you one thing. Being toxic and making arguments online and getting angry and frustrated is not going to make you any money. It's not going to make you a single dollar. I promise you. In fact, you'll probably lose money doing that. So the best thing to do, in my opinion, is to take full advantage of the opportunity that's being presented to you. You know, there was a quote from Michael Saylor I heard this morning, and it resonated with me. And what he said was, if you have more time than you do money, then these corrections, these dips, these crashes are a gift, right? Because you have time to get more dry powder to accumulate at lower prices. So if you have more time than you do money, it's a gift. It is a gift. It's all about how you function up here. That's what it's all about, right? Who are you up here? Who are you in here? That will dictate whether you're successful or not in this space. Who would have thought it? The year is 2025, and I'm investing into something called fart coin and making money. Nice. Well played. Studio Tech in the house. What's up, man? Guys, as always, make sure that you hit the like and subscribe to the channel. Helps the channel grow. Doesn't cost you a damn thing. So go ahead and, click the mouse, man. Just go ahead and click the mouse. Ain't no thing but a chicken wing on a string, right? Let's go. Let's go. All right. What else do we have? Paul, my guy, my dude, my brother. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Jay Walk, what's up, man? Who's buying more Jasmy during the pullback? Who has two thumbs and is buying more Jasmy? This guy. What else do we have? William, my guy. What's up, buddy? Strange Sky in the house. God bless. God bless you too, my friend. God bless you too. Like and sub, says Strange Sky. Absolutely, guys. Bruno's in the house, man. What's up, man? Optic Ninja. Say we go into a full-blown recession, would it just push the bull run back a few more months? Yeah, I was actually thinking about that before I went live. It's an interesting question. And I was kind of playing with the concept of, you know what? Nothing has managed to break the 4-year cycle to this point. But this certainly does seem to be pushing things back. Now, I was asked the question multiple times over the last 3 or 4 days. And the question was, even at my niece's birthday party, she turned 1. And some of the people there were asking me, well, Rob, are markets going to recover? And my response was, no. Investing is done in for the rest of the existence of humanity. All markets are dead. They're never going to recover again. So, of course, markets, short of it blowing up, God willing, as sure as the sun will rise tomorrow, markets will recover, right? So that's not even a question. It's an inevitability that at some point markets will recover. The simple question is, do you have the patience to wait for that to happen? That's the real question. Not will they recover? It's, do you have what it takes to wait for them to recover? That's the question. So yes, to answer your question, Optic Ninja, I was thinking that this morning that, hey man, maybe, just maybe, we don't see this bull run until early next year, which I was really dead set against for most of last year, but also could not foresee that Mr. T was going to introduce all these tariffs and start this, a lot of people are arguing right now that we're already in a recession, and I see the point in that, right? So yes, my answer would be yes, it would push it back. It wouldn't cancel it. See, that's the thing, inexperienced people versus experienced people, that is the difference, right? Is that experienced people know this just pushes everything back, but the bull run will eventually come. Inexperienced people are asking, is this canceling the bull run? Nothing cancels a bull run, right? Markets are down, markets eventually will recover and go up. It's just that simple, right? A river will flow. It's just that simple. Good afternoon, Quint Essence Quest. What's going on, man? Hope you figured out the M2 money supply tool. Yo, Lily, what's going on? Good to see ya. Another local. Good morning. Seems like confusion more than recession. It seems like a little bit of both, if I'm being honest. Jared, what's up, buddy? Keep calm. And DC, I did a little bit of DCing this morning. Absolutely, man. Let's go. 69K BTC. Let's do it. There she is, Gamma Goddess in the house. At this point, all I have to say is patience is a virtue. In the end, we will be victorious. Let's stay calm and get this money. That's all you can do. Thankful for more time to accumulate. Yes, exactly. David, what's up, buddy? Time to stack up. Let's go. Dennis in the house. Andrew, what's going on, man? Wars one in the trenches. Let's go. Absolutely. Reached my goal as Zebek. Just picked up more. Working on Jasmine. Congratulations, my guy. Congratulations. Beebs, my guy. What's up, buddy? H. Barbarina in the house. What's up? What's up? Afternoon, peeps. Jack W, not selling big bags, getting heavy. There you go. Keep loading up. That's what I'm doing. Good afternoon. Allison's in the house. Streaming on X. Stay up to date. Follow Rob on all platforms. Yes, absolutely, guys. Follow me on X. If you are not following me on X, what are you doing with your life? I don't understand, right? If you like my content, I assume you do because you're here. So why would you not want more of my content? By following me over here on X. This is my X page, guys. Go give me a follow over there because I do put out exclusive content for X only. David, I know I'm buying the dip. Hell yeah. Shane's in the house. What's up, Spencer? Good to see you, buddy. Remember when we were all wishing for these prices again just 3 months ago? Exactly, brother. Exactly. I waited this long and no stopping now. Can't stop, won't stop. EZ, what's good? Our first Patreon live today. Last week didn't count. Thanks, Robbie. No problem. No problem. More time to accumulate then. I already prepared myself for fall. Mike, what's up, buddy? Hey, everyone. Just got some more dry powder to get crypto when the further dip happens. Yeah, we seem to be going down right about now. So it's going to be interesting to see where things go tonight. Ken, go Leafs, go! Hell yeah, we got to put a cork in it with the Panthers tonight. I haven't seen Holmes in a while. Speaking of which, anybody seen Holmes? I haven't seen him in a long time. Wonder what he's up to. Hope he's okay. 104. Yeah, we're gonna get into it, man. We're gonna get into it. Elizabeth, how you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. Green tea. Squirtle's in the house. When we start going up, we will want more time to stay focused. Yeah. The funny thing about it is that's exactly it. Is that everyone's wanting us to go up right now, but I promise you one thing: when the markets finally recover and we start moonshotting, I'm going to start getting all kinds of DMs from people saying, "Do you think we're going to go back down so I can buy more, or so I can buy some?" Like, just do it now. Like, what are you waiting for? 69K BTC. That's what Rob said. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Let's go. I want to see that 69. We touched 74, but yeah, I would like to see. I would like to see us hit that 69. All right, let's get into some of the news, guys. Let's get into some of the news. See what's going on out there. All right, so we had this. I talked about it this morning in a video, but the list of projects being delisted from Binance was released today, and Jasmy is not one of them. So there you go. Jasmy not being delisted from Binance. You love to see that, guys. You love to see that. What else do we have? Yes. So we have this. Check this out. So the White House has released a statement that an additional 104% in tariffs on China went into effect today. Will the Chinese remove their 34% tariff? This is going to get worse before it gets better, guys. So buckle in, strap on. Let's freaking go. Let's get into an article, and then we'll get into some videos. We got lots to cover today, guys. Lots to get into. Rekt Capital warns a Bitcoin downtrend risk as RSI weakens. Renowned crypto analyst Rekt Capital has issued a cautionary note for Bitcoin investors, citing warning signs from both price action and the RSI. According to his April 7th analysis, BTC may already be entering a potential downtrend after failing to hold above the 78K level. Bitcoin recently closed below its March low of 78.5, a level many had viewed as a near-term support. This daily close has now turned that zone into a potential resistance on both daily and weekly charts. This shift points to a weakening market structure, raising the likelihood of broader downtrend momentum. According to Turkish NY Radio, analysis of Rekt Capital's findings, the market is lacking bullish momentum, although the broader structure remains intact. The failure to hold above key levels suggests a lack of buying conviction, especially ahead of upcoming macro events like the Bitcoin halving. RSI indicators, which measure price momentum, are also flashing warning signs. In past cycles, Rekt Capital observed a pattern in which Bitcoin forms lower price lows while RSI carves out higher lows, a setup known as a bullish divergence. While this usually precedes a reversal, it also signals interim weakness before any recovery. In historical cases, such patterns were accompanied by price drops exceeding 8% between dip points. However, the current downtrend stands at just 2.79%, suggesting more downside could be on the table if this trend mirrors previous cycles. So again, like I've been calling for, 69K. Should the bearish pattern continue, Bitcoin could revisit or fall below the $70,000 level, which serves as both a psychological and technical support. This threshold also acted as a reaccumulation zone ahead of past halving events, making it critical to preserve. A downtrend below 70K would likely have a negative psychological impact, particularly since many institutional and retail investors use this zone as an entry point. If breached, Turkish NY Radio notes the potential for panic selling and increased volatility as confidence deteriorates. Final thoughts: while the overall trend is not yet confirmed the lack of strength in both price and momentum metrics demand caution. For traders, and long-term investors alike, maintaining awareness of RSI divergence, historical parallels, and emotional trigger points like the 70K level will be critical for navigating the coming weeks. So how long is Mr. So guys, I have to say this, okay? This morning, for some reason, it popped in my head the video, or sorry, the appearance that Mr. T did at the Bitcoin conference last year, right? Now, this is why a lot of people are upset right now, okay? He's talking right now about, first he said he wanted 0 for 0 tariffs. He got it. He rejected it, and now he wants more, okay? So he moved the goalpost. We've talked about that, right? However, if we go back to the Bitcoin conference last year, asking everyone to vote for him, His exact words were, "You're going to love me so much," promising the markets will flourish under him. And who knows, in the future, for the rest of his term, maybe they will at some point. But right now, his approval rating is smashing through the floor because he promised that crypto holders would love him because of what his plans were. And he is absolutely and intentionally destroying the market right now. Intentionally destroying the market right now. Not on accident, on purpose, right? And to resolve the issue, he keeps moving the goalpost on what he wants to resolve the issue, which is pissing people off even more, right? To say that, though, we do have to keep in mind that if markets continue in this direction for the next 12 months, the midterms are next April, he will lose all power as president if the markets stay like this for the majority of the next 12 months, because that is what people will remember. And I said yesterday, if you think you're going to go on national television and convince people whose 401ks you have been destroying for 12 months to vote or to keep you in power, to trust what you're doing, you are sadly mistaken that they're going to listen, right? So in saying that, one would have to theorize that at some point soon, over the next couple of months, he's going to have to put in a lot of work to make sure markets are flourishing and everyone's making money, or else he's going to be defanged at the midterms. And he knows that, right? So interesting concept, guys. Some things to kind of, rattle around in your head if you're wondering, why people are angry with him. Well, because again, he promised we would love him because of all of the great things he's going to do for crypto, and he's done nothing but destroy it since he got into office. That may change. I don't know. I believe in him, to be clear. I believe in what he's doing. And when I say that, I believe that he knows what he's doing. So I guess all we can really do is wait. But I would hate to see him lose power next April because of what he's doing to the markets here, right? So we'll see what happens, guys. Just my thoughts on that. Strange Sky, thanks, Rob. You're the best. Hey, thank you so much for supporting the channel, guys. The super chats, they always mean everything. You guys know that. I absolutely, guys. Right in the feels. Right in the feels. Thank you so much. Squirt Reynolds, where have you been, my guy? Good to see you, brother. Jasmine's still green. Yeah, everything's red. Jasmine's up 6.5%. Strawberry Dragon, I was disappointed to see green yesterday. Love red to load up. Yeah, I was kind of disappointed too, to be honest. Maddie, I sold a bit of Jasmine at 1 cent one, looking for 209 or something. There you go. Blaz in the house. What's going on? No notification. Yeah, I don't know why YouTube is suppressing the channel still. It's getting a little bit ridiculous at this point. Milk Money, good afternoon. Thank you for the update. Still patiently waiting for this market to correct. Yes, yes, yes. Hybrid Dad, we're going to look back at these moments that we held. Yes, I agree 100%. Mr. T, intentionally driving markets down, artificial suppression, eventually big pump. Yes, I agree, Spencer, 100%. Jazz, what's going on? Yes, absolutely. I figured out how to make a host, how to put hosts, make you the host. So yes, absolutely. Hey Rob, I expect BTC to dip below 69K. Many will, yes, I agree. It'll shake a lot of people out. I agree, man. Gotta wait and see. Yep. Rip Rice, what's up? I have friends working for large major companies who are currently having planning meetings for an expected. Yeah, well, everyone thinks we're pretty much in one right now. So I agree. I could see why. All right, let's get into some of these videos here. Let's see. Let's hear from Pompliano first, guys. He says, do I expect Bitcoin and the stock market to decouple?
One of the questions that I keep getting is the relationship between Bitcoin and stocks. If you go back a couple of years, what you're going to find is that Bitcoin was a non-correlated asset. When stocks went up, it didn't mean Bitcoin was going to go up. Bitcoin could go down, it could go up, or it could go sideways. There was no correlation. And that's really attractive to a lot of investors because their entire goal in their portfolio construction is to find assets that are not correlated to each other. It's a way that they manage risk. But now Bitcoin has started to trade a lot more in lockstep with stocks. If stocks go up, Bitcoin goes up. If stocks go down, Bitcoin goes down. That means that non-correlation is now becoming a correlation. And so a lot of investors are asking themselves, is this good or not? And will it ever end? Natalie Brunell and I recently talked about this, and I thought that conversation was a great overview of what my current thoughts are. Take a listen to this.
When will Bitcoin truly decouple and become this flight to safety, which it was holding up pretty well and then sort of crashed again?
I don't think it will decouple. And it shouldn't decouple in the sense of until the end, right? So if you think about why is Bitcoin's correlation more closely tied to the stock market? Well, because more people that hold Bitcoin today have stocks. In the early days, there's a lot of people who, frankly, they just put all their money in Bitcoin. They didn't have stocks. They didn't care what happened in the stock market. They weren't buying or selling based on interest rates or geopolitical event. Like they were just like, I'm a Bitcoiner. I like Bitcoin. That's my savings tool. I buy all Bitcoin and I just hold it. That's not true anymore. Like a lot of people who hold Bitcoin or are coming in to buy Bitcoin now, they have stocks. They have these portfolios. And so they think risk on, risk off. Do I sell all my stocks in crypto or do I go and invest in stocks in crypto? And so you should expect that correlation to creep up. Now it's not going to go to 1, right? I think gold and Bitcoin are very closely linked. There are times where the correlation is higher or lower, but I do think that like we are not going back to the fully uncorrelated, world that we were in before because you're getting mass adoption. And so as you get mass adoption, then the people who hold it all act the same. They're the masses. And so you should expect there to be that correlation. Now, the like quote unquote decoupling that I think everyone wants to see in terms of like the coupling can only occur if people basically say this thing is the new global reserve currency. This other stuff like doesn't work anymore. Right. Because the other stuff fails so bad that Bitcoin, is the survivor. I just think we're very far away from that world, right? Like every time the Treasury Secretary talking about Bitcoin as a store of value is light years ahead of where we were 5 years ago, right?
Yeah, he said it on a recent interview.
Bitcoiners, we're winning, right? Like we're making progress. Congratulations, awesome. That does not mean we're going to be the global reserve currency tomorrow. And so I think that if you look out over 30, 40, 50 years, I'm really excited about Bitcoin. What's going to happen in 6 months? I have no clue. And so I just think that you have to keep updating your mental model on like what Bitcoin is and how it operates in this, economic system. Because if you stay in the 2018 to 2022, kind of mindset, like BlackRock's here, right? Fidelity's here. Like they don't act the same.
So there you have it. That's how I'm thinking about coupling, decoupling, Bitcoin and stocks. These assets are all constantly moving. You have to pay attention. Sometimes there's high correlation, especially when investors have fear. All correlation of assets go towards one, but then there's going to be times where the correlation is very low. It's going to be really attractive to investors as well. So keep your head on a swivel, continue to update your mental models, and understand that correlations change over time depending on economic conditions. Right now, people are fearful, and so correlations are going to go towards one. That's to be expected.
I agree. We got more to get into here. Which one do we want to go with first? Let's get into the tariff stuff, shall we? Let's get into the tariff stuff. All right. Lily, I love the reading of the news. Rob, thank you for the updates. Hey, no problem, Lily. No problem. Big Botto's in the house. Stay strong, fam. Don't get shook. All right. So, Basent. I always say his name wrong. China's escalation was a big mistake. Country playing with losing hand. Let's check it out.
A separate question, and maybe you can speak directly to the CEOs and business leaders who are watching this broadcast, along with perhaps policy leaders and others who are frankly running other countries. I've talked to a number of them who say, you know what, I'm going to sit back and just watch all this play out. I'm not going to make any decisions about whether I'm going to bring manufacturing back to the U.S. or frankly, how much I need to negotiate with this administration. This is now other countries just yet, because depending on how the markets play out, depending on what you think is going to happen in Congress, depending on what you think is going to happen with the courts, all sorts of other things could happen first before I would need to make an actual decision as to either negotiating over the tariffs themselves, or if I'm a business investing back in the U.S., because who knows what's going to happen, not just in 6 months from now, but in 2, 3, or 5 years from now, when maybe my plant would actually come on board or online.
Yes, so Andrew, that I think that may be what some of the countries are saying in public, but I can tell you I've seen the call list at the White House, and it's substantial. We were having a discussion last night about which countries to prioritize, and I think you are going to see some very large countries with large trade deficits come forward very quickly. I think we can, if they come to the table with solid proposals, I think we can end up with some good deals. And, part of the calculus on that may be that some part of the tariffs stay on. And I actually think, as I said, that over the weekend, President Trump has maximum negotiating leverage right here, right now. And I think it would be a mistake for anyone to think otherwise. And as I said, many of our trading partners, they have queued up and they have kept their cool. They have not escalated, and they will get priority in the queue. I think it was a big mistake, this Chinese escalation, because they're playing with a pair of twos. Traditionally, if you look at the history of the trade negotiations, we are the deficit country. So what do we lose by the Chinese raising tariffs on us? We export 1/5 to them of what they export to us. So that is a losing hand for them.
What about the business leaders who are watching right now, who are thinking to themselves, am I supposed to actually make a commitment right now to bring manufacturing back to the U.S., or should I let this ride and watch all of this play out first before I make any kind of decision?
Well, Andrew, as you know, unlike we financial market operators, business leaders, they have substantial lead times. So I am sure that they are putting together plans for what they would like to do when we finish these negotiations. So I think, again, they're not going to snap their fingers, find a greenfield site and build a factory, but I am sure that the planning has already started in boardrooms, because I spent the weekend talking to CEOs and investment bankers, and that's exactly what's happening.
Mr. Secretary, the actual tariff rate on Japan is 4.3%. The number that President Trump's chart used was 46%. There has been a lot of conversation about how some of the numbers were arrived at, and using that formula, which puts a lot of weight on trade deficits to try to take into account all of the other protectionist policies. But there was kind of a lot of blowback on that formula. Do you think that accurately represents what we're talking about, or was it an actual intentional effort to make things look worse in terms of the protectionism, so that the United States, so President Trump could start at a much higher level for the retaliatory tariff?
Well, Joe, a couple of things. I think if you look at the actual numbers, President Trump cut those in half. So, if we wanted to create a canard to have a large a non-credible, or the very extended negotiating position, we would have started from the actual number. And I believe that by cutting it in half, then we have shown some willingness. President Trump believes in trade. He wants to have fair trade for the U.S. I wasn't involved in the calculations of the numbers, but what I can tell you is that we can see from these huge surpluses that some of these countries have, that they've accumulated these gigantic surpluses over the years. That has to tell all of us that there are imbalances. And again, whether those imbalances are from the actual tariffs or non-tariff barriers, currency manipulation, or the state-favored funding, it's very difficult to disentangle. But those big surpluses tell me that there is a large imbalance, and President Trump is committed for the American worker to fixing those imbalances.
Interesting. All right, what else do we have? Juan, what's up, Big Rob? Happy Tuesday, happy Taco Tuesday. So maybe 69K will hit. Also, do you like Trailer Park Boys? They're my favorite Canadians. Oh yeah, I love Trailer Park Boys. Love Trailer Park Boys. I've watched the whole series more times than I can count. Quentin, what's up, buddy? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Christ is King. The late great prophet Kim Clement seen the Dow at 20,000 changes would take place and America would prosper like never before. Mr. T was in those prophecies. Kim Clement, House of Destiny. There you go, man. There you go. Big Bono with the super chat, super sticker, and hit the likes, he says, guys. Hit that like button. Absolutely. Dave, what's up, buddy? Hey, boss. If the bull run is put off till the beginning of next year, does that cancel the late? We're going to have to play it by ear, man. We're going to have to continue to watch the correlation. I can't read the future, brother. I'm still hoping for it, though, Dave. I'm still holding on to it. So, auto industry in the America would rise and upset the expectations of the East. Kim predicted at least 100 things came true. Nice. There you go. Nicholas, what's up, big dog? Where you been, buddy? Good to see you, man. Bitcoin dumps as U.S. slaps China with whopping 104% tariff. Mr. T has vowed to increase U.S. tariffs on China beyond 100% within mere hours, prompting BTC and stocks to begin cratering again. He announced plans to impose an additional 50% duty on U.S. imports from China starting Wednesday in response to Beijing's retaliatory 34% tariffs on the U.S. goods, pushing total U.S. tariffs on Chinese imports to 104%. China's Commerce Ministry labeled the U.S. tariff escalation as a mistake on top of a mistake, accusing the U.S. Of a blackmailing nature and pledging to fight to the end if the U.S. persists. This comes after global stock markets steadied on Tuesday after days of turmoil, with European shares recovering from 14-month lows and Wall Street indices rebounding amid hopes Mr. T might soften his tariff stance. As of writing, Bitcoin has cratered back to 76.6. It's back up to 77.2 right now, after briefly recovering back to 80 early Tuesday. Liquidations in crypto remain high, including 287 million in trades wrecked in the past 24 hours across over 99,000 traders. That's why it's not a good time to be using leverage trading, guys. Mr. T suggested a deal with China is possible, stating on social media, China wants to make a deal badly and that he's awaiting their call. So here's the thing. I read his tweet earlier, and Mr. T had tweeted out. He said China wants to make a deal. They want to, get this done, but they don't know where to start. Those were his exact words. They don't know where to start. Now, for me, that is a little bit of a piss off because you, sir, are the aggressor in this situation. If they want to come to the table and they want to get this done, and they're telling you they don't know where to begin, it's your job as the aggressor to let them know where they should be beginning as to what you want to achieve. That's like what he just said is the same thing as Gary Gensler at the SEC saying the rules are clear, or, people are, it's the same thing. Some vague, like pointing at them and basically laughing because they don't even know where to start. That is a little bit of a piss off for me, because again, as the aggressor in the situation, it's your responsibility to make sure they know where they need to begin, right? So what are you doing tweeting about it? Go tell them, right? So anyway, continuing on, what else do we have? Got this from Cointelegraph. U.S. Trade Representative Jameson Greer claims in the first in the first Mr. T administration's term, he imposed historic tariffs back in 2018, and I've touched on this before, guys. He did the same thing, believe it or not, in his first term. He introduced massive tariffs. So let's see, listen up.
I think we should look at history and data for this. It's hard to project what's going to happen with prices, but we know in the first Trump term, the president imposed historic tariffs on China on an enormous amount of goods coming from China. And during that time, inflation went down by 0.1%. During the Biden administration, the historic inflation was not on imported goods or related to tariffs that President Biden put in place. It was related to, frankly, services, healthcare, education, et cetera. So I think there's not really a one-to-one on tariffs and price effects, and so many things go into price. I know you think I'm probably like dodging and weaving on this, but I'm looking at data, sir,
yeah,
and the data shows it's not.
I know you.
Get.
So he did this in his last term. So it'll be interesting to see if it plays out the same way. On vacation, touching grass in San Diego. There you go. Got away from the Chicago cold. Nice. Chicago, CM Punk's hometown. Otaku. The China chaos continues. Less than 24 hours remain. Let's go. Worst presidency by far. Well, I understand 100% why you feel that way, my friend. Isaac, my guy, what's up, buddy? Is Mr. T around at this point? Who knows? Who knows? George Man has lost his mind. He has lost his mind. We'll find out, guys. We will find out. What else do we have? 0 for 0 tariffs. He doesn't want that. Then this change. Yeah, I mean, it is a little bit frustrating. I can see why people are frustrated. Rep. Ro Khanna on Mr. T's tariffs, the most self-destructive, wealth-destroying policy for a president. Listen up to this.
Is shifting part of its iPhone production to India after President Trump threatened an additional 50% tariff on Chinese goods if Beijing doesn't roll back its own 34% increase. Joining us right now is Congressman Ro Khanna, whose district sits in the heart of Silicon Valley. Congressman, welcome. Thank you for being with us this morning. We've been talking about the losses that have been felt in the stock market over the last 3 days. Obviously, we're looking quite a bit better today. But for companies in your district, it's been severe. Apple, for one, has lost 19% over the last 3 trading sessions. That's a decline of about $638 billion because of these tariffs. What are you hearing from your constituents? What are you thinking about these things?
Well, I'm hearing that these are some of the most self-destructive, wealth-destroying policies that any modern president has had. Look, a lot of people in my district who voted for Trump don't understand what he's doing. But some of the reason they voted for him is they thought they would be able to do more mergers, they'd be able to IPO, and all of that has been put on hold. But it's not, as you know, just hurting the tech companies. I mean, this is hurting manufacturers, it's hurting small businesses. It across the board has hurt the country without actually incentivizing new manufacturing to come here.
Do you get the sense that these are permanent tariffs, or do you think that this is a negotiation to try and get a better deal for America with all of these other countries?
The truth is, I don't know, and no one in the country knows, and that's part of the problem. If you're Mary Barr, are you going to go to your board and say, let me build new factories here, or are you going to think, well, Trump himself is saying that this may change in 2 months. His Secretary of Treasury is saying it may change by June. And then the problem is, even if they fix this, even if they take away the blanket tariffs, how confident are you going to be that they don't wake up in September and impose them again? And so there is permanent damage done because he has shaken the confidence and trust of the business community. By the way, many of them who gave him the benefit of the doubt. I campaigned for Kamala Harris. Many of them voted for Trump, and now they're shaken.
That's something we heard from Tom Lee this morning, just this idea of shaken confidence. What would it take to change people's minds? I mean, I think especially if the concern is that business leaders are not going to move forward with plans, they're not going to spend capital or commit capital, they may not be hiring as a result. What does it take to get them a little more confident to try and prevent a downturn in the economy?
Honestly, one, I think he needs a reset on his economic team. I mean, it just brings someone in who may share his view of restoring manufacturing, may believe that you need smart strategic tariffs in certain places, but will assure everyone that you're not going to have blanket tariffs again. You're not going to be tariffing allies. Bring in new people on an economic team. Assure the country you're never going to do blanket tariffs again, that was a mistake. And that you're going to look at things sector by sector and not have these kind of policies.
You mean kick out Peter Navarro and Howard Lutnick, who are seen as the two people who are most in favor of tariffs? What are you suggesting, Ro?
Well, Lutnick would be a good first step. I mean, Lutnick, I don't like picking on people, but he was on TV on Sunday saying that by having these tariffs, we're going to be doing more screwing and assembling of screws of the iPhone. And today, I'd love Howard Lutnick to come to my district because, look, the screws and the assemblies of screws are like 0.3% of the iPhone's cost. You have the display, you have RAM memory, you have the camera. And I know Lutnick loves 19th century policies, but he should understand 21st century production. So he'd be a great start. And put in someone, there are a lot of people, they're Republicans, but hey, Kernan would be good. I don't know. I'm sure Joe isn't for all these tariffs. And so bring someone in who's going to have some common sense.
Congressman, I don't think the administration is going to necessarily be listening to you or any Democrats. What do you hear in Congress from your Republican counterparts? How do they feel about all of this?
Don Bacon has been terrific. He's a Republican from Nebraska. He and I serve on the Armed Services Committee together. He's bringing forth bipartisan legislation to reassert Congress's right over the tariffs. We already have a few Republicans on board. I think it's going to get Republican support. I mean, this is something that affects farmers. It affects small businesses that rely on inputs. It affects manufacturers because they need a lot of the products that coming into the country to produce things. Those have gone up. So I think this is the first time, actually, I've seen Republicans criticize the president.
You have your own bill that you've brought forward. You're calling it the Drain the Swamp Act. It brings back White House ethics rules that were gotten rid of. It's an interesting point, but I can't imagine that's going anywhere in Congress given the leadership structure right now.
Well, look, even some of the MAGA folks were for this, and it says that any president, not just this one, but going forward, that the White House officials should not get gifts from lobbyists. It used to be the rule. There was an executive order that was repealed. Let's just make it permanent. No gifts from lobbyists to White House officials. But right now, beyond that, I mean, obviously that's an issue of transparency. I just want an issue of competency. I don't care if they're Republicans. Just find people who've understood basic economics and understand that when you have blanket tariffs and start a trade war, that's bad for the United States and the global economy.
You are from California, Ro. I mean, I love you, but preaching competence and great government and knowing what you're doing, knowing what you're doing economically, it's just rich. But that's my only comment. Just I don't know what you say about me, Ro. They might listen to me if I said it. But I did sort of say it about tariffs. I don't know why you don't just do deregulation. Do deregulation, keep taxes low, do DOGE, close the border. There's all these things. He'd be at 70% probably. I don't know. I'm not sure what the end game here is necessarily, Ro.
Well, Joe, I appreciate you calling balls and strikes on it because, even Reagan was very eloquent against these kind of blanket tariffs.
Right, I know.
And so, and I think Musk is having doubts about it from some of his Twitter feed. But look, the reality is I share the president's goal, and I know you do, of building us into a manufacturing superpower, having advanced manufacturing. But you need to develop the workforce for that. You need government finance for that. That's how Silicon Valley was built. NASA said, if you build semiconductor chips, Intel, Fairchild will buy them. And he hasn't come with a comprehensive policy of how we're going to do this. Instead, he spooked all these manufacturers, and they are not investing in building new factories. If that's the goal, the policy isn't working.
Like the whole idea, Ro, that if you build it here, you won't be tariffed. What happens if we get to 0-0 with everyone? Then you don't need to build
Your
it here.
competitive
I
advantage is gone.
Right.
I don't get
That's
it.
the other piece of it. Even if you have the 10% piece, it's not clear that you still build it here. Even if you have a across the board 10% piece.
Right.
If you're Tim Cook, I'm not sure if you have a choice between India and here that you necessarily go hero. What do you say to that?
Well, this is why I think you need financing incentives that the CHIPS Act did. Look, China, and I don't think we should imitate them, but they're literally pouring trillions of dollars into industrial lending. And they're giving their companies money to go build new factories, new AI. It's not just the tariffs that are going to help our companies here. We've got to say, if you build it here, the government will buy it, at least in the beginning, to help it scale. We're going to help you finance. We're going to help you get the plumbers and electricians, the workforce that you need. We're going to help you get the technologists that you need.
So basically, guys, for this whole plan to work, what he has to do is he has to convince every other country in the world to allow the U.S. to tariff them, but they can't tariff the U.S. Now, if you're step back, if you're American, and think about this from the perspective of somebody else, would you take that deal? Yeah, you can tax me, but we can't tax you. Good deal. Of course, you wouldn't take that deal. So I don't get it, but I mean, I guess we'll see, right? I guess we'll see how it plays out. Listen, everybody's got an opinion, including myself, when it comes to this whole tariff situation. But let's just be real at the end of the day. The only ones who know what's going on and how this is going to play out are people that are in the White House right now. I don't know. I just have a loose opinion based on information I have. I don't have all the facts. Nobody has all the facts, right? So it's hard to know. It's at the end of the day, it's hard to know. That's why I say we cannot condemn the man for what he's doing right now if we don't have all the facts and if we don't know how things are going to play out, right? We'll just have to wait and see, so to speak. Bruno, Mr. T doesn't become, yeah, no kidding. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. Joy, what's going on? Always tuned in and at work listening to you. Nice. I'm excited for our one-on-one tomorrow. I love being part of the Patreon community. I love having you over there, Joy. Absolutely. Absolutely, guys. Listen, you got to get over to the Patreon community, guys. If you're not over there yet, we're going to be live over there on the Patreon as soon as this live stream ends, about 20 minutes later. So get over there, guys. Join the live stream over on the Patreon. And here's the thing, right? Here's the thing about it. You can book your one-on-one coaching calls with me personally, guys. And guess what? They're absolutely free when you're on the Patreon. So why would you not take advantage of such a valuable tool? You'll be able to ask me all your questions when it comes to crypto. We can look at your portfolio. We can make sure you're not over-diversified and make sure that you're pointed in the right direction for this bull run. Or if you need to know what you should be doing right now when the markets are like this, come on over, book your one-on-one. Again, they're free on the Patreon, so why not use it, right? So get over there, guys. The link is down below. It's in the chat. It's in the pinned comments. It's in the description. Check it out for yourselves. And yeah, speaking of which, I'm going to get ready to do the live stream over on the Patreon right now, guys. I'll give you guys about 20 minutes to get over there. You do not want to miss this, guys. We got Open Mic Fridays. We drop microcap gem videos. We drop educational videos for investing in crypto as well. So check it all out, guys. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. God bless, guys. I'll see you later.